morning, sir. Welcome to Mauswagong Alamada.
Thanks, sir.
Leisure traveling is considered as one of the desirable things to do because it serves as a stress reliever. It teaches us how to know more about ourselves. It cultivates happiness and it stimulates in-depth creativity. However, most of us can't really travel for leisure at this time due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, leave it to me because I will be taking you to the most beautiful places of Cotabato province as we discuss the different codes and conventions in media. So get ready to think wisely, create smartly, and share information responsibly. My name is Sir Brex. This is Senior High School's Media and Information Literacy. We're here in Alamada, Cotabato, home to the famous Asik-Asik Falls, a 60-meter high and 140-meter wide curtain-like waterfalls. It is also known for its breathtaking highland sceneries. These places will be the venues of our learning activities for this lesson. In the last two modules, you learned about the different types of media and you studied how these media are useful as sources of information. However, being a media and information literate doesn't only mean knowing your sources of information.
You should also be prudent in your use of the information that is being presented in media. A media and information literate individual is a competent producer of media and information. This means being knowledgeable about how you are going to effectively present information in media.
In this lesson, you will learn the language of media and information in order to effectively communicate your message to your target audience. Using inappropriate media language might result in misinterpretation and miscommunication.
Media and information language is the way in which the meaning of a media text is conveyed to the audience. It is conveyed through media codes and conventions. The system of signs and symbols in media is called media codes, while media conventions refer to the generally accepted ways of presenting messages in media.
Signs and symbols in media text are polysemic, meaning they are open to many interpretations. This is the reason why you have to use the appropriate languages, signs, symbols, conventions in media.
It suggests what we have to feel about a media product. It also helps us understand and interpret media messages easier. In film, for instance, media codes and conventions are predicators of movie genres. A genre refers to a class or category of artistic endeavor having a particular form, content, technique, or the like.
Media codes and conventions draw the audience to identify if it's a horror, action, drama, or a fantasy film, because each genre uses different codes and conventions to make the audience feel happy, sad, terrified, and thrilled. Media codes are systems of signs which create meaning. They are like building blocks of all media around us. There are three types of media codes: the symbolic code, the technical code, and the written code. Symbolic codes. Symbolic codes are social in nature. What this means is that these codes live outside the media products themselves, but would be understood in similar ways in the real life of the audience.
For instance, if you see a character giving a red rose to another character in a film, you would assume that there is a romantic relationship between the two characters. If you give somebody a red rose in real life, you might be hoping the same. Symbolic codes include setting, mise-en-scène, acting, and color. Setting is the time and place of the narrative. Your setting must always fit your message. For example, if you want to portray a horror scene in your video, then the setting should look creepy. Mise-en-scène is the description of all the objects within a frame of the media product and how they have been arranged. Mise-en-scène includes set design, makeup, costumes, accessories, and props. Acting. Actors portray characters in media products and contribute to character development, creating tension or advancing the narrative. The actor portrays a character through appearance, movements, gestures, facial expressions, and vocal delivery. Color has highly strong connotations. Every color elicits a different and unique emotional response in the viewer. Thus, when you produce media, you have to be clever with your color choices. For example, If you were to make a poster about the danger of smoking cigarettes, red is the most appropriate dominant color because it signifies danger. Here's a list of colors and the emotions that it may evoke. Red evokes passion, strength, power, and danger. Green for safety, healing, and money. Blue signifies stability, trust, and health. Yellow for happiness and intellect. Orange evokes joy, enthusiasm, and encouragement. Brown evokes confidence and casualness. Gold for wealth, prestige, and wisdom. Purple for power, luxury, and ambition. Pink evokes feminism and romance. Black evokes power, elegance, mystery, and death. White signifies purity, perfection, and safety.
The next code is the technical code. Technical codes refer to the ways in which equipment is used to tell the story. Technical codes in media include camera work, audio or sound, lighting, and editing.
Camera work. Camera work refers to how the camera is operated, positioned, and moved for specific effects. Proper camera work gives the audience an actual feel of what is happening in a video.
Let's learn some basic camera shots, angles, and movements. Let's start with the close-ups.
First, the extreme close-up. An extreme close-up frames the subject precisely to emphasize the specific portions of the body. It is often used to reveal horror in a subject, like an extreme close-up of the actor's mouth as she or he screams. Second, the close-up shot. The close-up shot frames the subjects at a close range to show a detail. This shot is tightly framed and it takes up most of the screen, as it is usually used to frame a character's face in order for the audience to see what type of emotion is being conveyed. Third, the medium shot. The medium shot is a type of camera shot that shows an actor approximately from the waist up. This is used if the person is doing something with their hand movements. And lastly, the long shot or wide shot. The wide shot is oftentimes used as an establishing shot in films, as it normally sets the scene in the character's place within it. This camera shot shows the full length of the subject while also including a large amount of the surrounding area of the film setting.
Now let's proceed to the basic camera angles.
Our first camera angle is the eye level shot, and this is when your subject is at eye level. An eye level shot can result in a neutral perspective, not superior or inferior. This mimics how we see people in real life, our eye line connecting with theirs, and it can break down boundaries. Next, we have the low angle shot. A low angle shot frames the subject from below their eye line. These camera shots most often emphasize power dynamics between characters. Low-angle camera shots are a perfect camera angle for signaling superiority or to elicit feelings of fear and dread.
In your next shot list, when you've got a character who is powerful or at least feeling powerful, consider the low-angle shot. It will bring that extra bit of meaning to your shot.
Third, the over-the-shoulder shot. The over-the-shoulder shot is a camera angle used wherein the camera is placed above the back of the shoulder and head of a subject. This shot is most commonly used to present a conversational back-and-forth exchange between two subjects. This connotes a closer relationship between the two characters. Fourth, the high-angle shot. In a high-angle shot, the camera points down at your subject. It usually creates a feeling of inferiority or looking down on your subject. But again, as with every other camera angle, there are many applications. The high-angle shot is a versatile shot that can be used in many situations. The most common usage is to make a character seem vulnerable and powerless, but there are always exceptions to the rule. Fifth, the ground level shot. A ground level shot is when your camera height is at ground level with your subject. This camera angle is used a lot to feature a character walking without revealing their face, but it can help to make the viewer more active and use the actor's performance to build an idea. Sixth, the Dutch angle shot. For a Dutch angle, the camera is slanted to one side. With the horizon lines tilted, you can create a sense of disorientation, a destabilized mental state, or increase the tension. Seventh, the overhead shot. An overhead shot is from above, looking down on your subject. These are typically shot from 90 degrees and above, Anything less might be considered a high-angle shot instead. Overhead shots are great for providing perspective on a scene, but not just any perspective. It's often used as either a neutral or sometimes divine point of view. And the aerial shot. An aerial shot, whether taken from a helicopter or drone, is captured from way up high. It establishes a large expanse of scenery.
Now, let's get to know the basic camera movements and how it can stir a message in your video. Camera movement is a technique that causes a change in frame or perspective through the movement of the camera. Specific types of camera movements can create a psychological and emotional effect on the audience. These effects can be used to make a video more immersive and engaging. The first on our list of the types of camera movements in films is the static shot.
A static shot has no camera movement at all. It is achieved by locking a camera in a fixed position, typically with the use of a tripod. The stability of a static shot makes it non-distracting. This makes it one of the best camera movements for shot reverse shot dialogue, precise composition, or showcasing an actor's performance. The camera pan directs a camera horizontally left or right. The camera pan movement is typically achieved with a tripod head, but can also be done as a handheld movement or with a stabilizer. Pans are often motivated by a character's actions. They can also be used to reveal new information to the audience. When done at really quick speed, the fast camera movement is known as the whip pan. Whip pans are one of the best camera movements to add energy to a shot. Whip pans can be used between two characters rather than cutting to establish a more energetic connection. The tilt. Camera tilts are just like pans, only vertical. Tilt camera movements direct a camera upward or downward. Camera tilt can be used to give a character dominance in a shot or to reveal new information to the audience. Tilts enable filmmakers to capture the verticality of a film in moments of awe and spectacle. The push-in. A push-in moves the camera closer to a subject, typically with a dolly camera movement or Steadicam. Push-ins can draw the audience attention toward a specific detail. Filmmakers also push in towards characters to try and infer what is occurring internally. This can be a reaction, thought process, or internal conflict. It can be the missing component that connects an audience to a character and what they are thinking. Pull out. The camera pull-out is the exact opposite of the push-in. A pull-out is a smooth camera movement that moves the camera further away from a subject. This movement causes the subject to grow smaller while simultaneously revealing their surroundings. Pull-outs can be used to reveal setting and characters. Emotionally, pull-outs can highlight a character's isolation or loneliness. Tracking shot. A tracking shot is any shot that physically moves the camera through the scene for an extended amount of time. Tracking camera movement often follows a traveling subject, though they can be used to simply show off the scene. Arc shot. The arc shot orbits the camera around a subject in an arc pattern. Arc shots are typically used to add energy to a shot in which characters have minimal actions.
Those are the different ways of how a camera can work. Remember that more than just a visual spice, proper camera work moves your story. It has a voice too. It says, look at this, look at that, this is more important over here. There is embedded information in the way a camera works that gives us a hint as to what the message is all about. Next up, let's talk about audio as one of the technical codes. Media language involves the use of sound and music to convey meaning and often to work on the emotional impact of a scene. A change in sound will affect the overall mood of a video.
Look at this scene. If we play suspense music, the scene will suggest that something bad is going to happen. But if we change it to motivational music, the scene will suggest that something good is going to happen. Meanwhile, for radio production, sound effects are one of its most important elements because it visualizes scenes that are only heard.
Another technical code is lighting. Lighting is a code that gives an accent to a visual media. Lights gives a video a sense of atmosphere. Some genres have lighting conventions such as horror, where monsters and bad characters are lit from underneath. Try placing a torch under your chin in a dark room.
You will look like a monster sidekick. Lights also give drama to your scenes. Lastly, editing. This is a non-linear digital process that allows the editor to put pictures and sound together in any order and in any way he or she chooses. Editing makes the message organized so that it can easily be understood by the people. Special visual effects are also done in editing to achieve what message you'd like to portray. For example, in our 4th episode, we portrayed that we traveled through different ages. Of course, we can't go back to the past, but our editors made it possible through editing.
Finally, the last media code that we are going to discuss is the written code.
Written codes are the formal written language used in a media product. Written codes include font style and font size used, captions, choice of words, and emphasis of words.
The written code of a media product must be appropriate to the genre or message you want to convey.
For instance, if you're making a poster for a horror film, you have to choose words that are creepy and use font styles that appear scary. In print media, newspapers use texts that are simple and easy to read, and the choice of words is formal, while comic books use decorative font styles depending on its genre. Again, your font styles and choice of words must complement the genre of the media product that you opt to produce.
Next up, let's discuss media conventions.
Media conventions are the accepted ways of using media codes. Conventions are closely connected to the audience expectations of a media product.
The different types of media conventions include form conventions, story conventions, and genre conventions.
Form conventions are the specific ways we expect that the types of media codes to be arranged.
For instance, an audience expects to have the title of a film at the beginning and then credits at the end. Newspapers will have a masthead, the most important news on the front page, and sports news on the back page. Next is the story conventions. Story conventions are common narrative structures and understandings that are common in storytelling media products.
For example, all stories have a beginning, rising action, climax, falling action, and ending. For instance, there will be a relatable protagonist whose words is in balance. Then a crisis knocks their world out of balance, making the status quo unacceptable. Afterwards comes a journey to restore balance that faces progressively escalating opposition. Then here comes the climax, where the protagonist must decide to risk everything in order to find balance once again. And then, the end. It is conventional for Filipino films to have a poor character, beset with misfortune at the start, who will turn into a rich and influential character in the end.
Lastly, genre conventions. Genre conventions point to the common use of tropes, characters, settings, or themes in a particular type of medium. Genre conventions are closely linked with the audience expectations of a genre.
For example, a character who wears black or dark colors is usually the antagonist. Horror films usually use old houses, old hospitals, or isolated places as settings. And love stories usually show that love conquers all.
However, media products today no longer stick to the conventions. Media producers are now trying to get out of the box, exploring ways to break conventions and finding new styles in expressing messages. To wrap up what we have discussed today, let's have an activity.
Inside the box are the words needed to complete our paragraph. Choose the correct words and fill in the blanks. Are you ready? Let's do it! Today, I have learned that media information and language is conveyed through blank and blank. Very good! The answers are media codes and media conventions. Media codes refer to the systems of blank, which create meaning, while media conventions are the accepted ways of presenting a media product and are closely connected to the audience's blank. Awesome! The answers are signs and symbols and expectations. Media codes and conventions identify the blank of a media product. It also makes a media message blank to understand. The The answers are genre and easier.
Congratulations! You made it! That was an interesting lesson, right? To recap, there are 3 types of media codes. The symbolic code, the technical code, and the written code. There are also 3 types of media conventions. The form conventions, story conventions, and genre conventions.
My dear learners, I believe that you are now ready to create your own media product applying the different media codes and conventions. Remember, John Dewey said, "We learn by doing." So this time, I want you to create an information or advocacy campaign about any social issue that is close to your heart.
Your information campaign can be in any media format. Apply the different codes and conventions in your media output and upload it to any of your social media accounts and use the hashtag MILEP7. To enhance what you already know and to prepare you for your media production assignment, let's have a short quiz. Let's do it!
Number 1. What font style best suits an infographic about health reminders on COVID-19? Letter A. Decorative. Letter B. Sans serif. Letter C. Script. If your answer is letter B, sans serif, you are correct. Health reminders on COVID-19 is a serious topic. Thus, the font style should also be simple and readable. Number 2. In a video, you want to emphasize the resilience of Cotabateños in facing disasters and calamities through their facial emotions. What camera shot should you use? Letter A. Close-up shot. Letter B. Long shot. Or letter C. Medium shot. If your answer is letter A, close-up shot, you are correct. The close-up shot is the best shot to show the specific details on someone's face. Number 3. You are tasked to make an infographic about effective study tips. What should be the dominant color of your infographic? Letter A. Green. Letter B. Purple. Letter C. Yellow. If your answer is letter C. Yellow, you are correct because the color yellow represents intelligence. Number 4. In your video, you want to illustrate that your character A is seriously talking to character B. What camera shot best suits the frame? A. Close-up shot of the main character. Letter B. Long shot of the characters. Or letter C. Over-the-shoulder shot of character B, revealing the face of character A. If your answer is letter C, over-the-shoulder shot, you are correct. This angle is the best camera position if you want to emphasize that 2 people are talking with each other. Number 5. If you want your poster to have a feeling of joy and encouragement, what color should you use? Letter A. Blue. Letter B. Orange. Or letter C. Red. If your answer is letter B. Orange, you are correct. Orange evokes joy, enthusiasm, and encouragement.
How many correct answers did you get? Good job! You can now become a competent producer of media and information. I hope you enjoyed our learning trip today. Oops! I'm not yet leaving you. Let me serve some food for thought. It's mealtime!
Paulo Coelho said, "To become really good at anything, you have to practice and repeat until the technique becomes intuitive."
No skill is learned overnight. To become an excellent media and information creator requires the 3 P's.
Practice, patience, and perseverance.
Keep on practicing. Be patient and persevere to learn more. That's the spirit in order for us to succeed in anything that we do. That's the spirit of the Filipino learner. That concludes our learning adventure for today.
In the next episode, we will talk about intellectual property rights, copyright, and fair use guidelines of media and information.
Always remember, think wisely, create smartly, and share information responsibly. My name is Sir Brex. Until next time here on DepEd TV.